Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we'll break down step by step how to set up a home-based daycare. I'm going to simplify this for you so you understand what matters, not the fluff. And this is coming from experience, having run two daycares for almost 10 years and now working on a commercial location. This is what I have learned personally in my journey. If you own your home, excellent, you're halfway there. But if you're renting, you need a written permission from your landlord that they are okay with you running a daycare. Don't skip this step, you will regret this later. Now, what's important to understand, every region has different licensing requirements. I'm in BC, specifically in Surrey, and I'll be using Surrey for an example. Now, every region has its own health authority. For example, in Surrey, we have Fraser Health that mandates up to Abbotsford. If you are in Vancouver or somewhere else in the country or even in the States, you want to check your local rules first and foremost before you do anything at all. Typically, in all regions, including BC, you're allowed to have up to 8 kids in a home-based daycare. Some allow 5, some allow 6, so make sure you check that like I said before. Now let's talk about the requirements that you need in place to apply for a business license. The biggest one is being ECE certified out here in BC. Then a clean background, first aid and CPR training must be 19 plus. These are the basic requirements. But don't worry, if you don't have an ECE yet or you're in the process of getting one and you still want to open a home-based daycare, you can always hire someone. And as a bonus, I will be breaking down real revenue numbers for a home-based daycare in Surrey towards the end of this video. So stick around and subscribe for future videos just like this one. Once you know the rules, everything else becomes just like a checklist and you have to follow it along until you get your license. You do need a business plan, not only for the licensing officers from the city to give you approval, but for your own feasibility. What's the going price in the neighborhood you're in per kid? You need to know how much demand there is in your specific neighborhood. Are there already too many daycares around? So once you have these answers, you will get a very clear picture of if this is a feasible idea for you to pursue or not. Some basic things you need to know for Surrey. You need to have minimum 40 square feet per kid indoor space for you to get approved for a daycare space. So given that we can only host up to 8 kids, you need 8 times 40 square feet. And this does not include your washrooms, your hallways, cubby space. This is space that's only dedicated for kids, for play area, for nap room, things like that. And you need to have a floor plan in place before you do anything, because that's also going to become a part of your business plan proposal to the city, which is how you get your business license in the first place. You have to kind of show them this is where you plan to do nap area, this is where you plan to do cubby area, and this is where you plan to do play area. The biggest one is the outdoor play space. So if you're thinking about doing it at your home, you need to have a yard space that can accommodate up to 8 kids. And the square footage requirements for that here in Surrey are roughly 100 square feet per kid. Not only that, licensing officers also look for things like fire exits. God forbid there's a fire. How do the kids escape? How many entry exit points do you have? Is there a pool in the house? If there is, how are you planning on protecting the kids from that? So be mindful of that. This is going to become a part of your business plan. For most daycares, this process is 2 to 6 months for a home-based operation. And it really ranges based on if you have to do any improvements, if you have to add or delete renovations to your existing place. Mostly it's very straightforward, but you definitely want to check this out before you jump into this. For my own locations, when I worked on the residential side of things, it took us from 3 to 4 months per location. And for commercial, it's an entirely different ballgame. We had to pay a lease for over 1 year to just get started. But we'll stick to residential daycares in this video. I'll make future videos about how to open a commercial daycare as well. So keep that timeline in mind. Be prepared. Have the burn cost ready for at least 6 months before you actually make this decision. What can possibly extend this timeline is just the safety of kids. So the licensing officer looks for things like, do you have fencing in place that's adequate for kids? Do you have neighbors with dogs? And if there are some dogs, then how do you protect the kids coming to your daycare from them? So these are the things you need to be mindful of before you submit an application. Now, the approval process looks like this. You prepare a business application with everything we just discussed. A big part of that is the floor plan. And then, of course, there's policies and there's SOPs that you will give to the daycare licensing officer to review. They also deem that you are a good fit to run a daycare operation. So if you have experience, great. If you don't have experience, I highly recommend hire somebody that does and have them go on the business application. as the principal operator, the biggest question that daycare licensing officers will ask you for a single-handed operation is, what do you do if your teacher calls in sick, or if you're the teacher, if you are sick? So you want to be responsive to that. You can tell them things like you have friends in business, you can share the teachers, so that in an event a teacher is not able to show up to the daycare, you're still covered and you still have availability for someone else who can. Another big piece of your application is policy and procedures, like I talked about. This is basically a blueprint for your daycare's operations. This includes your curriculum, this includes your time for naps, time for play. You want to make sure that you have the knowledge of how to keep kids busy for whatever time you're open for. And all of that is what really makes up for a business application that you then submit to your local health authority, Fraser Health in case of Surrey, which is how they determine if they will give you a business license for running a daycare operation or not. And once you submit your application, if everything checks out, and if you do this diligently, if you know your rules and regulations before you start making the application, you will be fine. You will get approved. And after that, what happens is inspections. They want to make sure that your daycare space is safe for kids in an event of a fire, in an event of any other natural disaster. So these are the things you have to also provide them as a part of your business plan. And these inspections are fire inspection, safety inspection, and they also check water that you have in the daycare facility, if there's any lead in it, if it's safe for drinking. And these are the things you need to make sure are covered in your business plan if you want an approval. It's a lot of work, I know. I've been through that, but trust me, the feeling you get after you get that business license cannot be replaced. Now, let's say you have filled out the business application, you've gone through the checklist for the play space, for fire alarms, for interior, for toys, all of that. Next, what you can do in the meanwhile, while you're waiting for your business license to arrive, is again, knowing your local regulations inside out, working on your marketing, picking a business name, which you will have to do at the time of making an application anyways. You also need to work on your contracts, your handbook that you will share with parents that you will want to enroll when the time comes. And also that is a part of your business application. So most of the work that you will need to operate your business will be a part of the checklist that you will submit to the city for your business license approval. One tip that I can share with you is, while you're waiting, don't just sit around and hope that, when the license comes, your daycare will be filled with kids. You got to start marketing early. Start talking to people, talking to parents in the neighborhood, start going to community events, start getting acknowledged with what other business owners are in the neighborhood, parents, and everything that can help you eventually bring in the kids to your facility. You want parents lining up before you even open doors. And if you want a step-by-step blueprint that doesn't just tell you what to do, but shows you how to do it every single step of the way, from drafting policies to making procedures to amending the floor plan to what renovations might be needed, I have put it all together in a simple and very affordable course. It's 10 chapters that walks you through everything you need to know before you start this operation. And this makes sure that you fill in the application the right way so that you get that approval that you want. It'll save you months of trial and error and give you a roadmap that will get you on the right path from the first day. Now, here's a bonus that you've been waiting for. We'll break down the revenue for a multi-age home-based daycare out here in Surrey Langley neighborhoods. Typically, the fee is around $1,200 to $1,400 per kid, and there's a lot of incentives that are also available to daycare providers. There's wage enhancement, there's incentives for parents. So do look into that for your local city, what is available to you, and make sure you enroll into that, because it makes it more attractive for parents to come in when they have to pay less and the subsidy covers them. Coming back to numbers, let's just do the math based on $1,200 a kid. At 8 kids, you're roughly looking at $10,000 per month. If you're the teacher yourself or you hire a teacher, you must do a cost analysis of what is the net profit that comes to you after paying everything off. Now, 10 grand is your monthly revenue. If you have a teacher or you are the teacher, you should be paying yourself $4,000 to $5,000 per month for dedicating your time to taking care of the kids. You're left with roughly $5,000 as net profit. You can fully automate this business. Yes, you will have to be involved in the beginning for the process to actually be fruitful. But once it's done, you have policies in place, you have SOPs in place. This is a business that can run itself in your own home. Thanks for watching. I hope it helped you get some more clarity on how to get a daycare up and running for yourself. See you in the next video. Stay blessed. Thanks for watching.